They like to work with people, inventors, entrepreneurs, new businesses that have one product, or would they prefer to have a product line to be able to purchase or represent?
That kind of depends on the product. I mean, if it's an excellent product, for example, I've seen some really good pet fitness products or all natural products, which is kind of the trend right now. So if it's a good product and it's priced right, I think you'll do well. But I think the majority of success would come with a variety of products if you can swing it. But again, that's a hard question to answer because it really depends on the quality and salability of that particular product.
It seems like many of the retailers, it doesn't matter if they're small or large, they always like to see some kind of track record. And the track record is based on, sales already. So you have in your trade shows, you have an area that's the product innovation area. It's really for new products, where I guess people are a little bit lighter on expectations. How has that worked out for you in that area, and what have you seen there?
We used to call it Product Showcase, and we changed it last year when we rebranded our show and renamed our show. We call it Product Innovations because we were looking for new items that really were innovative and had the ability to sell well. And it worked out great. I mean, every year we see new and different products. And what we did this year was actually sponsored this year by Pet Age magazine, and awards were given, which is a little bit of an extra incentive for manufacturers to enter into product innovations. We had gold, silver, and bronze awards. And that's usually the area that buyers go to first. It's the show within a show. So if you sort of a microcosm of the larger show, and there are of course, name tags or actually identification signs that say, see it at booth such and such. Mm-hmm. So if you really don't have a huge amount of time and you really want to see what's new, you go in there and you write down your booth numbers, and then you go to those particular booths. And it was very, very successful at our fall show.
That's great.
Last year.
That's great. Have you seen a decent amount of inventors there, or are these established companies that are just have another product that they want to launch in the new product innovation area?
I'd say it's a mix. I'd say maybe 30% are like brand new companies, brand new exhibitors, and the rest are maybe established companies that have been around for a while that have some new items that they want to showcase. But we always see some really great new stuff.
When you have exhibitors that are starting for the first time, can they expect a big hit that first time, or is it on frequency of attending the trade shows? Because I don't know exactly how much the booths are in your expo, but does an inventor, a new product that's being launched, a new business being launched, expect a major return, or is it something more of a branding type of experience when they go, maybe even just the first time?
I'd say you can't have very high expectations, no matter what trade show you attend, if it's your first time through. People do business with who they know and who they trust and who are going to be successful for them. So, in a lot of cases, we have new exhibitors that come in and think they're going to just knock the door down. I'm going to make X amount of money. I'm going to the show. I have this great new product. You really have to give it a few years and do a number of different shows, not just Total Pet Expo, but take a look at what else is out there and where they are geographically, East Coast, Midwest, West Coast. Get a pretty good range of geographical areas, but don't expect to be extremely successful the first time through. Okay. We've seen exhibitors that have been, but don't expect gangbusters the first time.
What have you seen from new products? Specifically, the successful ones and the somewhat successful ones and the not so successful ones. What do you see any kind of trend or what they did differently to make themselves stand out or be successful? Is it PR, public relations, writing press releases? Is it calling up every buyer from, or letting them know, or social media? What have you seen that's really stood out to you that has made a difference for a new product?
A very strong marketing plan. If you do pre-show marketing, if you do your marketing and sales at the show, and most importantly, post-show follow-up. Most shows will give you a list of attendees, and you need to contact that key person, whoever your key contact is, not everybody at the particular firm, but reach out to them, whether it be phone, direct mail. This is in advance of the show. And then post-show. For a show organizer, the show organizer's job is to get people to the show. Mm-hmm. And it's the exhibitor's job to get them to the booth. So if you have a strong plan and you continue to do those three things, pre-show, at show, and post-show follow-up, those are the companies that are the most successful. And they definitely have a written, organized plan that they follow through and carry through.
It's tough because marketing, when you say the word marketing, it could be so many different things this day and age. But you're talking about the press releases, reaching out to where, maybe putting an ad in the magazine before the trade show, reaching out to editors, or just finding different places that buyers are going to be reading or looking or going, and really just kind of letting them know that you are on the map, and hopefully, build some kind of momentum to be able to come to your booth, or you reach out to them, or prior to the show. Do you suggest maybe setting up appointments with the buyers?
If you can, yes. Now, at our particular show, you're not going to find a lot of people that are going to want to make definite advance appointments. They'll say, hey, yeah, we'll come by your booth. But you may not have people say, yeah, I'll come by your booth at 2 o'clock. But if you let them know, and what an effective promotion that we found works with us is if you send out, and this isn't an inexpensive thing to do, send out a postcard. Come by our booth, we'll give you a free gift. Come and see XYZ product. That, to a lot of our buyers, seems to work pretty effectively. Follow up with social media if you can. Get that list, the pre-show list, if it's available from the show. Send direct mail, phone calls, whatever you can do in advance and whatever you can do post-show, because so many people just forget about the whole post-show thing. Continue to do your post-show, even postcards, 3 to 5 times after the show. You would be surprised how successful that is.
It's very interesting. Colette, I guess people's perceptions are a little bit different when they think about what the expenses are of being involved in a trade show. I've heard inventors say that they think it's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars to exhibit at a trade show. And I've heard some people on a shoestring budget say that, after finding out what the booth is and everything else, that it's not that much. And not that much, to some people is $10,000 or $5,000. What do you think, just for expectations of the listeners, that maybe are interested in it, but they just won't ask that question without maybe hearing something, let's say, on our show, to say, how much do they really need to be prepared with? I mean, they're going to need airfare if they need it. I mean, there's obviously travel and hotel expenses. You may need to hire somebody that will go with you, 1 or 2 people, so you could take a bathroom break or eat while you're on the show and not leave your booth unmanned. You're talking about the displays, samples, maybe inventory. What else, Colette? What do you think?
That's a question that you should always ask a show organizer. You should ask them, give me an approximate cost of what it's going to cost me if I have, say, a 10 by 10 exhibit space. Just a ballpark. And that'll get you at least started. And what I tell people for a 10 by 10 is allow anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000, and that would include your booth costs, your furnishings like your carpet, electricity, any furniture that you might need to rent. And then in addition to that, if you've already got an exhibit, like a booth exhibit, then you would have to add that to the cost. And that can range anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. But you can keep it very simple too. If you're new, you can just do a banner and just bring your products in, and also consider your shipping costs. So, and in there also is your estimated travel and hotel, depending on how many people you want to bring. I would say if you're new, you could probably get by with maybe 2 people. Maybe 3, depending. And again, it depends on where it is and what your airfare is and your hotel. But that's what I usually tell people, is between 5 and 8K for a 10 by 10, and maybe 9 to 11K for maybe a 10 by 20.
Okay. And when you were talking about renting furniture and so forth, many inventors might not know about this, but when you call up to get your exhibitor space, they do have a list of different things that you can actually rent or purchase, or whether it's you need internet access, you need electricity, you need the carpet, you need furniture, you need display cases, right, Colette?
Yes. Once you sign up for exhibit space, you're usually sent what's called an exhibitor services kit, and you can either get it online or a hard copy version of it, and basically it goes through everything. There's a welcome letter. Says what time you can set up, what you need to order. Do you need floral? Do you need electricity? Do you need there's shipping costs in there too. What it might cost to bring the materials to your booth and then get them out at the end of the show. So my best advice to people when they're just coming in is to ask for a copy of the previous year's exhibitor services kit if you really want to get a good idea of what it's going to cost you, depending on how you want to decorate your booth. Say, send me last year's, let me take a look at it, and then I just add my air and my booth costs and my hotel and transportation, and that'll get you pretty close to what it's actually going to cost you.
Okay. We were talking about what to do pre-show to get the word out and maybe get those buyers into your booth. But, Colette, walking the floors of, let's say, your show, inventors or new product people, first-timers, to be able to catch people's attention as they're walking by, what have you seen that's really stood out for you that you've seen exhibitors catch people's attention, whether it's buyers or people I guess whoever's walking the floor? I mean, you see people that have their display and their banner and their product, and they're standing behind a table and just watching people go by. And then you have the interactive people that are out in the middle of the aisle throwing you into their booth, which might be the extreme, and they could be wearing funny costumes, or maybe in this case they might be wearing animal costumes. But what do you think are interesting ideas of how to get people to catch their attention, to come to your booth and to actually have that glance at your product or demo of your product?
Well, I think you pretty much hit it on the head when you said about the interactive salespeople. I mean, there's kind of a fine line. You can't be too pushy and grab the people and get them in. But if you engage them and say, hey, here I've got a free gift for you. Come in and see this. Or have you heard about our new product? The more trained your salespeople are in trying to bring people in the booth, the more successful that you will be. And I see so many new people come in, and they're sitting in their booth, and some of them are sitting there, they're not making eye contact, they're reading a book, and then they can't figure out why they're not successful. So interactive salespeople that have the right kind of training, you've got to have those meetings with your salespeople and say, okay, this is what I want you to do, this is how I want you to interact with people, this is what I want you to look for on people's badges, look for their level of purchasing authority. Are they an owner? Are they just an employee? Are they assistant manager? Draw them in, bring them in, and have some kind of a hook, too, when you're giving away an iPad or you're giving away any other kind of free gift. It doesn't really matter what the free gift is. It's just something to be able to draw them in.
Right, a sample or whatever.
Yeah, and very colorful displays, tend to do very well, and displays that are not so